Hello and welcome. It is the completion of the 30th day of December 2020. My name is Derek and this is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and of the like, well, that is within each's own risk and their own reward. For myself, risk reward management is always job number one. And I'm going to start off with sports betting, just where I'm working towards or moving or looking at, and then towards the markets. There's not much within the sports betting angle, but first it is going to be hockey, as there's not much for odds out there. But this is opening night, Wednesday, January the 13th. We have Vancouver and Edmonton with an over-under of 5.5 goals, but no money line. Over-under on Montreal, Toronto at 6.5. 6 on Chicago, Tampa, no Kucherov, no Tays. And 6 on Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and 5.5 only on St. Louis, Colorado. First 3 days of the season over the total, and these numbers are just way too low. 5.5 on a couple of games. I mean, I'm really liking the Vancouver-Edmonton over, I think, right now. Vancouver-Edmonton, I mean, Edmonton's not an under team, and they got 5.5 on their number. In Vancouver, man, they got some good offensive players on that team as well, too. Right now, that's looking like the top play. I'm also going to be looking to take home teams laying 1.5 goals. As far as the National Football League is concerned, it's not even until at least Friday or so. I'm going to be not only be looking at the board. So I haven't even looked at week 17. Hopefully I can find something upon this information that comes up. I mean, what a big difference. New England was -9 now. How that could never have been right. New England should never be -9 against anybody right now, but they're -3 right now. But as far as the playoffs are concerned, an interesting angle is quarterbacks who made their first career start in the wild card game. And I have some statistics up here for you. Since 2000, quarterbacks playing their first ever game in the playoffs in the wild card round have got 9 wins and 30 losses outright. And there are 11 wins and 28 against the spread. And there have been times when rookie quarterback plays rookie quarterbacks. 30 of the 45 games went under the total. The under was 3-0 last year, and it was 2-1 against the spread. 5 possible quarterbacks could be making their potential first start. None of these teams have exactly clinched the spot either, and there's a couple you don't know who's even going to be starting in that case if they make it. Baker Mayfield for Cleveland would be making his first career spot. It would be a fade against him. Miami, as long as it's not Ryan Fitzpatrick starting, then it can go against Tua. Kyler Murray for Arizona. And I don't think it matters. Go against the Rams either way if they make the playoffs. But John Wolford will be making his first career start, period, this weekend. And if they make the playoffs, he'd be making his first career playoff start. If not, Jared Goff, who's been in the Super Bowl before, would start. But he's just garbage of a quarterback. I think you can just fade him anyway. He's just that bad of a quarterback. That's why I say, does it matter if he starts or not? I just go against the Rams. And then New York Giants, Daniel Jones would be making his first career start. If, of course, they can get into the playoffs, and they probably won't. It looks like it's going to be Washington getting in, and if it's Washington, that means it's going to be Alex Smith, and he is a career veteran of the league. Okay. Bitcoin. How many minutes? It didn't take long. We're in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Bitcoin on the 1 minute term time frame. Last we seen all-time highs for Bitcoin was 1,921 minutes. Tied with the minute before that, 1920 at 29,300. $700 shy of 330,000, or a little under 2%. I mean, 1% is $290 something now. Wow. And then there was way back when a low was like $250 was a price that it was like way back when, like 2015 and whatnot. But anyway, price action is doing amazing for Bitcoin this year. This week, I mean, hourly term time from excitation of the 18 average of highs last occurred at like 1 o'clock p.m. And, well, it got above the intraday highs that I had early in the morning. We found that a support and then earlier, and then we got above even the last resistance that we had in all the hours previous to the current one, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Already up now for the day, given that the time, 7 p.m. Eastern is when a new day starts, so it's New Year's Eve, I suppose. Up $355, but it's barely doing anything at all on this. And yeah, 1.23% isn't much of a move. Continuously well extended from the 18 average of highs. On the weekly, well overextended as well. It's gotten by this level of resistance, not finding much resistance at that 20 area, which of course was the all-time high way back at the end of 2017. As I look at this again, this is a noticeable, just clear break starting to barely be extended amongst the 18 average. And this is only period number 2 in which it has stayed its entire period above such. And I still think the potential for larger size green candles, when I look at the size of the current one and the previous month, compared to like month here and everything in here, just the amount that this has had in the past, especially, and I know this is old school way back when in 2013, but you have a month here where it was up 450%. And I'm not going to say it's just going to go a 4 or 5x move right fast. However, it's a clear break of resistance. It's a statement as far as I'm concerned that of it's going to 60-ish minimum. And this is where the fun kicker comes in. Question mark. And don't answer unless you want to, of course, but what's the correct play based on the situation? If you're already in, that's of course already a different play. Is correct A, you wait for a clear break to get above it, that's just noticeably before you buy, which would be now. So do you buy at Bitcoin, knowing that you're going to get at least a 2x move to equal out risk versus reward for that to be matching? If you're looking for a 60,000 price point, 15,000 of a decline down towards, which would be a match to the 18 on here, would be the equal risk. Now, of course, if you're looking for like a bigger price, I think 80, 90,000, that's like a, well, no, that's, and technically speaking, not really, because if you're looking for a move to 30 to 60, technically, if you double, if you lose if you're to make a bet where you're going to double your bet, and then it either does that or it goes to nothing. And of course, they don't go to nothing when you make these bets. But in the hypothetical example that it does, if I were to make like 40 bets like that, and 25 or 30 times I was right and it doubled, and the other 10 or 15 times it went to nothing, I'd be profiting. And that's just other ways of looking at risk-reward management as well. I know that's more for sports betting, but you can compare other avenues when you're looking, and vehicles, when you're looking towards getting an edge in any type of game like this. And in this type of game, that is, of course, the game of world life and crypto and currencies, and, of course, the math on the trading of cryptocurrencies. And, of course, Bitcoin has been in a major dominant situation. Ripple has been getting its ass destroyed. And, of course, a lot of that came out of the fundamental news priced against Bitcoin. It is now at levels pretty much at all-time lows, I guess, for the most part. On the daily chart, it had a beautiful rally that went from 1,600 handle all the way up to about well over 4,000, and then settling in there between 31 and 3,300 Satoshi. And then, of course, the big down days of 17 and 40%, and has just been continuing to grind down even lower, now at 724 Satoshi. Simple fact to me, if anything's ever going to go to nothing or have monster moves, it's going to be this one now. I mean, there's just no other way about it. When you're making 21 predictions, and I hate to do that in the sense of just because of the year, but when you're looking at any given time, what the next many weeks or months say, and it just happens to be that the next many weeks or months now moves into 2021, that this thing is either going to have a phenomenal, and it could do both, but either having a phenomenal monstrous move of mega up proportions where it pretty much goes up like 2, 3, 4x in a day, 20x, 15x in a decent amount of time, like 2, 4, 5, 8, 20 days kind of deal. And then, or going to nothing, or practically nothing seems to be in order for it. And for me, but 2.5 maybe percent of my entire portfolio, of my real life portfolio, is in Ripple. So if it goes to nothing, well, and even for me, as far as it goes, my largest holding is silver. And if cryptos end up going to nothing, that would be a big hit, but I would still be doing well because of diversification. All right. So that's Ripple. Tezos is something I'm very close to buying. I want to get this at 60,000 Satoshi. Now it's 67 or 6,000. It's at 6,740 now, but it has been in nothing but major downtrends. I can pretty much delete these lines now because they're going to be It's going to be high divided by whatever the low happens to be. So it's the Fibonacci is on this. What do we got on here? 4,073 divided by whatever this lowest number happens to be. Those are the numbers I'm going to go with. But for now, whenever this is ready to go, I think the Teslas will have fantastic, fantastic moves towards the upside. And right now, Theta is doing fantastic within the run, where a lot of altcoins, not as much, because to be hanging in there and even doing well against Bitcoin when Bitcoin's having this fantastic run is just a spectacular move. A little bit of symmetricalness, lower highs and lower lows. When we look at this on the daily chart, we can see within the lows in here, like December 20, 15-hour stamp, this one. Then all of these have been remaining higher, albeit barely. And then from this high on December the 26th, we have this high here lower. And then a couple of these highs here, December 29th, 1900 hours, and then just recently, making lower highs, higher lows, and it's been stuck within the 18 average pretty much since this down move. But just one small pierce above or below it first, where it spends 4 periods below it, a couple of periods attempting to get above it. Now it is barely since December 29th, 7 a.m. or the last 6, 7, 8 periods, just stayed within this 18 with hardly any attempt to escape. So this thing is just going to be bound for a significant size move. If it breaks down to the downside, you expect a quick move, concise, that would go below 45.99. And then getting above here, I would expect a fast move to previous high at 6,600 and change. And again, it's going to be like, to me, it's all about melt up for the year. I mean, silver's in a good spot right now, both short term and like all the terms are pretty much looking good for silver. As you can see in the 4-hour term, having an attempt to exit the 18 average after correcting for about 6, 7, 8 periods amongst the 18 from this move on December 27th. Here we're getting 3.5% and then holding in there, but it's now been testing the level of resistance that established amongst that time frame. And if it breaks that, next key level is 27.62. But on the other term time frames, daily chart, I just love how it's holding amongst this, and the other term time frames to me are in great situations. Weekly chart holding and staying above the 18 average of highs. And the monthly chart is a nice excitation. And to me, I think this is looking to be in good position. Gold, of course, in good shape as well. But even the Dow Jones is in an amazing situation as well. So I think this is like a year of a melt-up kind of thing. Cryptos look good. Precious metals look good. And I even have to believe the stock market does as well, because we look at this from the perspective of the Dow Jones Industrial Averages. We have all these highs in here. And now it's had excitation of these levels in here. We've had this from this failed breakdown in here. So it to me looks as if this thing is ready for another leg higher. As no surprise, this has done nothing from its entirety since all of us have been alive, because this is over 120 years of data and no one's that old. Oh, the only big correction move we've had is this, and there's been a little bit of yada yada in here. This silent crashes, I've heard it been called. Then the 2008, 2000 bubble. Oh yeah, the 87 crash is somewhere in here, if you call that a crash, just looking at it this way. Market has just managed to continuously go straight up ever since. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.